Oh, hey Lawrence, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
What's up, guys? It's Drifts and Lifts here. Alright, so today I figured I'd start doing a couple things on Lawrence. So, basically right now, I think the first thing I'm going to do, I've kind of thought it out a little bit. So I want to get this car running and driving. I want to get it kind of, on the road so I can at least like freshen it up, really clean it up, and then I can get a cool set of wheels on it, gut the sunroof, the little things that I like to do. The first thing I want to do is get this thing running and driving before I go ahead with a crazy build. So if this motor is healthy, Lawrence says it should be, it ran fine, but I really want to know what the compression is on it. Just to, if it has really bad compression and this motor needs a rebuild, I might just go straight ahead to swapping this fresh motor in it. So what we're gonna find out right now, I have a compression tester, thanks to Dan at Post Haste Performance for lending it to me. So I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs out and do a compression test on this motor. This is a 1989. Actually, in the last video I mentioned it was an 88. But it is in fact an 89. Lawrence confirmed that with me. So this motor is actually, I believe, a small rod motor. It has the 9mm rods. So as you guys know, the limitations of this block are pretty low. You can probably get like maximum 300 wheel horse out of them if it's perfectly tuned, no detonation whatsoever, good to go. But yeah, so I may as well use the motor if it's got like some life left in it. So if this motor is good to go and it has good compression, I might actually start with throwing a 531 head, the one that I got sitting over there on the shelf. Throw that head on it along with the 60T and just get this car for like a nice kind of, I'll probably drive it through the winter and enjoy it. It'll make some pretty good power if I have a 531 head on there with a 16T turbo. I'll obviously do like a 3-inch exhaust and probably even an intercooler upgrade. I'll also either decide whether I want to put that K-cam or the IPD turbo cam that's already in this motor. So yeah, we're going to decide after we compression test this. So that's what this video is going to be about. I got my socket here. All the spark plugs on this car are 13/16. So I'm going to pull all the plugs. I'm going to hook up my compression tester. And since I actually don't have anybody doing this with me, I'm going to try to run the compression gauge just out to here. And then if I can read it from inside the interior there, that'll be perfect. But I think once the compression on the tester actually like gets up to where it's got to go, it actually stays there. It doesn't bleed off unless you press that little button. So I should be able to get a pretty good idea of what we're working with here just by myself. So yeah, let's get started on that. You guys all know how to do compression tests, super easy. You obviously need a compression tester. So where's mine? Oh, it's in the Cummins here. Mr. Huff, as we like to call him. Trucks are usually dudes, I think. I don't know. Cars are girls, something like that. Yeah, so here's our compression tester kit. Let's pop this open real quick. There we go. Okay, so we got all of our different attachments. I believe we're going to be using this one right here. Yeah, that looks about right. That's the right thread size. Actually, no, it's this one right here, the bigger M14. So yeah, I just plugged that into this thing right here. This is actually, there's quite a bit of length to this, so I should be able to route it wherever I need to see it. So yeah, I'll just plug that in there, screw this into my spark plug hole, and crank it over a bunch of times until this gauge goes to, basically you keep cranking until it goes somewhere and stops and doesn't go up anymore. So factory compression for these motors. So brand new, they say 155 PSI on all cylinders is what they're spec'd at. So if we're anywhere from, let's say 130 to 150, I'll be happy with that. That's only a 10 to 15% loss. As long as you don't have like really low compression in one cylinder, you're probably good to go. So even if, yeah, if it has like 125, 130, I'll be happy with that. That'll be good enough to run for the winter and enjoy this car for a while until I want to do some further mods to it, actually do a proper build. So kind of what I'm thinking about that is if someone wants to buy Goldie, sitting over there she is. Actually, if anyone from the channel wants to buy Goldie, I'm gonna start the price at $5,000, I believe. I know that seems like kind of a lot for an old Volvo, but I have a lot of money into that thing. I'm probably over $5,000 total build cost. It's got like a clutch net 6-puck with a heavy duty pressure plate clutch. I got that Garrett T3, T4 fully rebuilt. It's a brand new, essentially, Garrett. That's like $1,000 for that whole piece right there. It's got, you know, a bigger intercooler. It's got cam. It's been tuned on a dyno properly. It makes legit numbers that spin the tires pretty damn good. I think it made 237 wheel horsepower and 334 foot-pounds of torque at 21 psi of boost. Yeah, if anybody in BC, if any of you guys watch the channel, you got a bit of money to spend, I probably have some wiggle room on that price. You just have to come out and check the car out for yourself and come for a rip in it. You guys have seen Goldie on the channel many times, so you know, I maybe will make a Craigslist post for it eventually, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna kind of see if any, I want it to go to someone who enjoys the car, and hopefully a subscriber of the channel would be awesome. You guys know how much I like to keep cars in the family. When I'm selling a car, I try to sell it to a friend so I know where it is and I can keep tabs on which Volvos are going where. I'm kind of like, I kind of run like a Volvo brothel house. I'm like the Volvo pimp. Jeez. Yeah, I'm just like dishing them out to my friends to go and abuse, and then I like take them back into my care and then sell them out for money and stuff. It's pretty brutal, hey? Yeah, so that's kind of my plan, guys. Message me on Instagram or Facebook Messenger, or comment in the comments to get a hold of me. If any of you guys are interested in potentially buying Goldie, so I can start a new build and do more things. The reason I want to build this car and not Goldie is honestly the color and the fact that it's an 80s front end car. I just really like this color, and if you're gonna do a full build, starting out with a color that you're super stoked on is nice, because at the end of the day, if I say I built up Goldie and did all the work to that, getting paint done like a nice, you know, fresh color is like $3,500. I could buy like so many cool performance parts with that money, right? But yeah, so that's kind of the reason I want to do that. Instead of building Goldie, I want to sell Goldie and do the full build on Lawrence here, because I just really like this car. I don't know, the color is just, oh, I could literally, I don't know, you know, it's nice, it's real nice. Anyways, let's get started here. So I'm just going to put down the GoPro for a sec here, get all the spark plugs out, and then we will hook up our compression tester and then see what's happening with old Lawrence. 420,000 kilometers on this motor. It's been turboed its whole life. Not too sure what to think. We'll see. Alright, there you go. So compression tester is in cylinder number 1. Okay, I can kind of read that. I can at least see where it's gonna stop going. Okay, it's not in gear. Make sure your car is, oh, what's going on here? There we go. Okay, so it's out of gear now. Yeah, obviously if you're doing a compression test, make sure your car is out of gear. You don't want it lunging forward on you. I hope this doesn't start. No, it doesn't have spark plugs in it, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna crank it over and see where this leaves us. Okay, so I see the compression tester stopped there. Let's go see the details. There we go, guys. So 155. So this cylinder has not lost any compression over its 20 some odd years. It's actually getting pretty close to 30 years. 29 years on the road. So that's good. That's a good news. That means Lawrence is taking care of this motor. Hopefully, we will see with the other compression test on the other 3 cylinders, sorry. But yeah, so let's do the other ones. All right, so cylinder number 2 is hooked up. One thing to mention with a compression test, you guys should always have the throttle body open. I didn't last one because this port is actually open, so that simulates the same kind of thing. Basically, the idea behind that is you don't want air going out and getting trapped in the intake manifold, and that buildup of pressure will potentially make your compression test numbers a little bit different. So it's just kind of good to do the same for all 4 cylinders, do like the same thing. Another thing is, you guys are probably wondering, like, oh, aren't you supposed to have it hot, like full operating temp once you're compression testing it? And the answer is, if it's warm, it's generally going to have a little better compression numbers, just because the piston rings and everything have fully expanded from the heat, and they're sealing like better than they would be if they're cold. But cold compression numbers, you should still get a really accurate description of what's going on. Even like, especially if you have all the cylinders cold, you got to have, you know, if you compression test all the cylinders cold, just make sure everything's the same basically when you're doing it. So yeah, let's do number 2 right now. Let's see what the details of this one are. There we go, guys. So that's pretty much right on what the other one was, basically 155, because that one big nick is 160, 170, 180. So yeah, 155. Perfect compression in this cylinder as well. Things are looking good for this. Generally, if one cylinder is going to be bad, it's actually usually the worst, the farthest back cylinder. This cylinder actually takes the most heat for the most part. So heat is always the killer of engines. Overheating, melting pistons, ovalizing of cylinders. That's generally all due to heat. So we got 2 more to go. Let's see how she goes. All right, cylinder number 3. We'll see right here. Damn. All right. So this thing has some awesome compression numbers so far. We got 1 more cylinder to go. Fingers crossed that this one's good, because I'm kind of excited to just slap a head and a turbo on this thing and like enjoy it for a bit, in kind of the, you know, how it is right now. Later down the road, and then I can build it once I sell a Goldie and stuff like that. If the compression was bad, I would be like, be a little more work cut out for me in the near future. So, anyways, we got 1 more cylinder to go. Let's do this. All right, cylinder 4. The moment of truth. Looking pretty good. And dun dun dun, the verdict is 150, 155 basically. All right, guys, so Lawrence here has perfect compression after 29 years of service and over 400,000 kilometers. So huge shout out to Lawrence, my good friend who owned this car previous to me, for, you know, maintaining it. I bought, you guys know how many of these cars I've owned. I've had actually like 33 now. I think this is number 33 as far as 740s go. So I'm well versed with the red block motor, and I've compression tested a good handful of them. And this is not always the case as far as, usually the turbo ones, I find that like an 80s turbo car with a small rod motor, you know, after 29 years, owners that have been using like 87 octane, like poor gasoline, that kind of thing, I've compression tested them and they've been like 125, 140, 130, 150. You know, it can be all over the place sometimes. Yeah, I think that's the main reason. If you go to buy a Volvo and it's got piston slap, I would recommend compression testing the car before you buy it. Because, you know, even if it does have low compression, the motor will still run fine, and you can probably throw a bunch of boost at it and no one's ever gonna bat an eye really. but it's nice to know that your motor's, you know, in good shape. And if you compression test it, you can usually get the guy down some. If the compression is subpar, you can get him down on price a little bit. So, you know, these compression tester kits aren't too expensive. It's a good thing to have. So I actually might pick one up myself just for future use on other cars and that kind of thing. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of oil on the ground. Oh my god, where did that come from? Yikers. Oh, okay, that's dripping out of the turbo there. Looks like I have some cleaning up to do. Jesus, that is a lot of oil. Whoa. Alright, so I know what I'm doing now. Anyways guys, I think that's the video there. I just wanted to compression test this and confirm that this motor is worthwhile putting ahead and a little bit of work into just to get it going and have some fun with. So now we know that. That's confirmed good. So in the next episode, guys, I think as far as, well, the next episode for Lawrence, so I'll be throwing this 531 head sitting back here, throw that on. This is the Volvo K-Cam. This is the slotted K-Cam. Really rare piece. Shout out to my buddy Andreas from Sweden there. He sent me this over a while back. So that's pretty rare with the slot in it, the K-Cam. Pretty cool piece, so I think that'll be a good combo with that 531 head and this 16T. The K-Cam's known to be a little weak in the low end due to the duration of it. So that 16T spools pretty quick. Should kind of help it out in the low end, and then we're also going to get the top end of the K-Cam. And that turbo is good too, about 16, 17 pounds maxed out. And that's all I'm really planning on running. To be honest, I'm probably going to keep stock injectors on the car for now. LH 2.2 cars, they don't really deal with upgraded injectors quite as well. You got to do a resistor pack mod into the MAF wiring. But another thing, actually, what I just realized is I have, here it is. Yeah, so this here, right here, is a 3-inch LH 2.2 MAF. So this is actually a pretty rare find. I got this off of a 760 parts car with the V6 motor in it. So this MAF is a 006. That's the last three numbers. So yeah, that's used for LH 2.2 on the V6 motors. But this is gonna work with this car if I wanted to. So I could actually probably scale the injectors like a 440cc, go with this MAF and do some MAF wiring resistor pack mods. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. So there is an option if I want to do bigger injectors in this car, but to be honest, I don't think I'm really need to go past 14 pounds of boost. I think 14 pounds on a good flowing 531 head with that cam, if I put an intercooler on it, my guess is it'll actually make some pretty good power. I bet you like 210 wheel horsepower. We know the compression is good on this motor, so that's going to be helping us out a little bit too. Yeah. There you go, guys. That's the video. So thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the Drifts and Lifts store. Let me know what you guys want to see. We can make some new designs pretty soon here. I don't see why we wouldn't make a shirt with Lawrence, because this is going to be one of the new Drifts and Lifts project cars. So yeah, check out the store. A great way to support the channel. I could use all the funds I could get right now just due to lots of stuff going on. So yeah, pretty much it. One more thing. We are going tomorrow to a hidden location. It's an abandoned train yard. And that is, I'm not going to tell you where that is, guys, because we want to keep it secret for all the people in Washington here. But yeah, so I'm probably going to end up taking Goldie out there. My good friend Rob Warren is going to meet me there with his JZX 110 Chaser. Actually, sorry, it's a Toyota Mark II JZX 110. It's 5-speed, 1JZ. Pretty darn cool car. So we're going to go there and film some cool videos. It's literally like a open drift track, more or less. It's an abandoned train yard. There's overgrown bushes and trees everywhere, but I figure we can make like a cool track through the trees and stuff. So we're gonna go there tomorrow. We're gonna be making a cool video of that, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be really cool. Cool, man. Pretty cool, you know. And yeah, so there you go. Lots of cool stuff to come. Make sure you stay tuned. Like and subscribe for dank Volvo queefs. Peace out.